An update on the leaking pipe out at the main water treatment plant, drinking water treatment plant. We did successfully install the bypass that we've been talking about last week. It's in place and it's operational, full capacity. We tested it over the weekend to make sure that the water treatment process could handle the different water source, and it did. And so we are actually able to take the portion of the pipe that had the leak in it down. We started work on plans for the repair of that line over the weekend. We've been in consultation with contractors and consultants. We're going to try to do a repair from inside the pipe to minimize the digging up of that pipe. And we're looking at the possibility of doing a condition assessment, not only of the portion of the pipe that failed, but of the whole 600 feet of pipe. It's all about that same age and the same kind of material. And we figure if it's a failure at one point, we could conceivably have a failure at another point. And we're looking at the possibility of doing a repair to make that whole 600 feet of pipe essentially a brand new pipe, and hopefully last us for another 50 years. So there is no concern with interruption in water, ability of the city to provide water, so citizens can enjoy the current level of service that they have. And if we should have a failure, which is even more unlikely now with the pressures taken off of it, we've got the bypass in line and we can meet all the expectations in terms of water demand. So that's it on the water. I'm also just here to just give you a quick update on snow and ice if you want, but are there any questions on the water side?
So the bypass is online right now?
Yes, sir.
Kind of put this, as someone who's dealt with this since the beginning, where are we now in the process of things? Are we feeling much better than where we first started, and it's looking pretty good as we go forward? Yeah,
well, there was some risk that the city was looking at when we had the line leaking. And if it had failed, then it would have had an effect on our ability to provide water. So we very quickly, in a very short period of time, put in a bypass. And that bypass is in now. And now, even if that pipe should fail, we can get the supply that we need through that bypass. So the risk that we had faced before the bypass was constructed is now gone. So now we can take the time that we need to go ahead and make the repairs to the pipe that's leaking.
And are you concerned that this has exposed maybe some issues along the line? Or are you going to be taking it sort of down the pipe, look at things just to make sure that we're not dealing with something similar in the future?
Yeah, on a small scale, we're looking at that particular pipe. It's a single failure point, which means if that pipe fails, it has real bad effects on our ability to deliver water. So we'll be looking at that individual pipe, not just at the point where it leaks, but all 600 feet. But on a larger scale, we continue to look at and assess the condition of all of our infrastructure and to prioritize the repairs based on our budget. We did, over the last 3 years, council has increased the water and sewer rates, and this was for this very purpose, so that we could do additional condition assessment and replacement and rehabilitation of older infrastructure, and that continues to be underway.
Do you know how old that pipe is?
Well, some of it is built back in the 40s and somewhere around the 40s. It's that vintage 40s, 50s pipe. And so, I mean, that's how old the most of that pipe is. There's some pieces in there that are a little newer, but we'll be looking at the whole length of that. So, if we do have a rehabilitation that's available to us, figure add another 50 plus years onto the life of that pipe.
What material is that pipe?
It's reinforced concrete, so it's a concrete pipe with two metal cages inside of it to reinforce it.
At this point, do you have any timetable for completion?
Well, our goal is to try to have the repairs complete by March 1. And the reason we've set that target is because that could be the earliest that the irrigation season begins. And when the irrigation season begins for us, we go from somewhere to 40 to 50 million gallons a day to over 100 million gallons a day. A bypass can't provide that kind of volume, so we'd like to have the repairs done well ahead of the irrigation demands that we expect.
You weren't sure what was causing the leak or what caused the leak. What have you learned in that regard?
Well, we won't really have better information until we start the condition assessment, which should be probably the end of this week or early next week. We'll send a camera down and do some sonar profiling to look at the wall thickness and the integrity of it. We have two theories. One, it could be just a shifting of pipe joints that have caused a crack, or it could be corrosion, be just the over the years the pipe corroding. But we'll have a better idea once we actually do the inspection.
Estimate on what this bypass cost?
The bypass was, I think our current costs are about 600,000, but we're still collecting all the total costs on it. So pretty close to what we had estimated.
And any idea what if you had to replace that 600 feet, what that estimate might be, or do you have any idea?
Yeah, we really don't. There's so many factors like the kind of material that we're going to use, the availability of the contractor. Do we have to pay a premium to get that repair in place before the irrigation system or season? The cost of getting access into the pipe. So there's a lot of unknowns at this point.
Are there better materials now to repair that with, or do we still just have to use reinforced concrete?
We will not be using the same materials. We'll either use a coating or a liner inside the pipe, and it'll be like a new pipe in a pipe. That's the plan. That's how you get it's essentially a 50-plus year additional life to the pipe because you're adding a new pipe inside the pipe.